Welcome viewers, good to have you once again. It's a nice thing having to see you come online and to view our lessons. Please ensure you have your writing materials, and as well always ensure you go to our ExamGuide app to check up on what you've learned, test yourself and be sure you are improving yourself. Don't just watch and please watch and jot down and then make sure you test yourself on what you've learned. God bless you. So today we're looking at documents used in home trade. Documents used in what? In home trade. So because we have foreign trade and what? Home trade. So the ones that are used basically in home trade activities or transaction. That's what we're looking at right now. So let's go. So today we're going to list and explain the necessary documents that are used in home trade. What does it actually mean? These documents, also known as commercial documents, are official papers used to back business transactions in order to make them more authentic as well as for record purposes. When you do a business transaction without any backup document, you may forget about it and nothing to trace it about. So but with this document available, you can keep track record, all right, and document it for financial reasons to know exactly what you have done over time, and also to back up for accountability. All right, so yes, these are very important documents used to transact business within the country or within any country. They are called home trade documents. Okay, they are known as what? Commercial documents, and they are official papers that are used to back up business transactions, making it more authentic and for record purposes. So you can see this is a simple procedure in documentation for business transaction. A simple procedure. It could expand, but this is the basic of it all. You know, when you want to start a transaction, you could actually use a letter of inquiry to make an inquiry to find out what is available for what you want to buy from the seller. And the seller will respond to you with a document that is titled quotation. Will send to you responses that making you to know exactly what's available for you to buy based on what you've inquired. That's called quotation. And then when you receive that, you can now place an order by calling back or sending back a reference letter to the seller, telling him exactly what you need from what he has sent to you as quotation. And that means you have made an order. Then the advice note will be sent to you, which is delivery note as well from the seller, telling you, okay, your goods are already on the way. It will arrive so and so time. This is the content of what we are sending to you. An invoice also will be sent to you from the seller, okay, to make you know that, okay, this is the details of our transaction, and also a receipt to be sent to you. So yes, that's exactly simple step that you're going to do in transaction. These are the documents as well, some of them, not all. So let's look at the list. This list is not exhaustive, but it's a handful of the common ones that are being used in local or home trade transactions. Okay, now we have letter of inquiry, like I mentioned. We have quotation, we have catalog, we have advice notes, delivery note, we have price list, we have order, we have invoice, receipts, credit note, and debit note. This is not exhaustive, like I said. This is the most common ones that are being used regularly. So let's go into them one at a time. Letter of inquiry. What is letter of inquiry? A letter of inquiry is a formal document used to request information about goods, about services, about prices, or other business-related matter from a supplier or a company or an organization. Once you have sent this letter to get information about any of these mentioned, you have just done what? You have just engaged letter of inquiry. They will store it in your name, in your profile, to your advantage, okay, in their own files. Then it is often written to initiate communication and explore potential business opportunities. All right? It is written to initiate communication and explore potential business opportunities. So these documents are very vital. So that makes the beginning of what? Business communication for a transaction to happen. That is for letter of inquiry. Then when the letter is sent, the seller will reply with a quotation. Okay? And what's a quotation? It's a formal document provided by the seller to a potential buyer as a response to an inquiry that states the price, the terms and conditions of goods and services being offered to the buyer. It helps the buyer to make decisions based on the cost and details provided before confirming a purchase. So if you receive a quotation, all right, as a document, you peruse it and go through it and see, okay, I am satisfied with this content, I want to buy at this price, at this quantity. Oh, this condition of these goods will not allow me to buy. Oh, I love this condition, right? Because they give you details. And they give you prices and the terms and conditions of the goods you are going to buy. So anyone that fits your expectation, you reply back with what? With an order. So our next document is what? It's an order. You see, that's the process. These are documents that are used in home trade transactions. Now, an order is a formal request made by a buyer to a seller, specifying the goods or services they want to purchase, along with details such as the quantity, the price, and the delivery times. So I may choose how my goods will be delivered to me from the seller. Of course, I have the right to do that if I want it that way. So an order will have any of these where it is important to include it, right? I'll make an order to buyer and say, okay, this is the good I want to buy, or the service I want to render to me, all right, along with the details of how I want, the quantities I want, the price I can pay, all right, and how you can deliver it to my address or yes, residence or where I want it to go. That's what I have as well. So an order can contain all this much. So it also details what the consumer is looking for in documentation or record purposes. So that's another document in home trade transaction. The next one, of course, in no particular order, of course, in this case now, you may be given an invoice if the transaction is successful. You'll be getting an invoice from the seller. And what is an invoice? An invoice is a formal document that is issued by the seller to the buyer that details the goods or services provided by the seller, along with the total amount to be paid by the buyer, payment terms, and other relevant transaction information. It serves as a record of the sales and a request for payment. Yes, it shows what the order has been and what the response of the seller is, of course. It gives a summary of the transaction between the buyer and the seller and how much is needed to be paid for. I'm asking the buyer to pay. So that's an invoice. So that's one of the important documents for accountability purposes, all right, for record keeping. Now we have receipt. Receipt is a document provided by the seller to the buyer as a proof of payment. You can see you're taking it chronologically, all right, as a proof of what? Payment. If the buyer has paid, having received an invoice and made payment, he will get a receipt, which is what? A proof of payment for the goods ordered, all right? So confirming that the goods or services have been what? Paid for and delivered. It's a very important document, of course. It helps to track transaction financially, of course, all right? Any transaction that has been ended or completed successfully will have a receipt. So it shows that this transaction has been completed and it has been recorded as well. So a receipt serves as an end to a particular transaction and a proof of payment for it as well. So that's what it represents, okay? Then advice note is a very important document too. What is it? It's a document that is sent by the seller to inform the buyer that goods have been dispatched or are on their way, providing details such as the shipment date and content. Right? It will tell the buyer that your goods have left our confine, our custody. They are on the transit to your destination or our address. All right? It will give other details such as what? The date, the content of what is being moved. All right? Maybe, of course, the transport means. All right? It helps the buyer to prepare for delivery. It makes him ready to receive the goods when it will arrive, so that they cannot be caught unaware. So an advice note is a kind of pre-information to the buyer that your goods will soon get to your destination, having the content of what is being delivered also added in the advice note. So yes, these are documents locally. Then catalog is another one. I mentioned catalog in one of the discussions earlier on in the video. Catalog is a document that or a digital is a document or digital resource that lists and describes various products or services offered by a company, including details like prices, features, and images to help customers make informed purchasing decisions. Right? Okay, a catalog will show you pictures, right? If it's online, it show you even some of them videos of the products, how it is advertised, how it can be used, the different content that is in the product. It will advertise itself to you so that it is appealing to you to patronize. So it's a tool for advertisement by many companies. They use it a lot, okay, especially male other businesses, and most other companies use that to actually elicit patronage from potential customers. So that's another document that is used in home trade. You can imagine this is a picture of the catalog. It has pictures and images of products by these catalog owners. Some of them have prices tagged with it, all right? You can see the price and what it can benefit you, all right? Yes, the next thing we have here is price list. As a document in home trade, a price list is a document or a resource that provides detailed list of products and services along with their corresponding prices, helping customers or clients to understand the cost for what is being offered before they can make purchases. This gives you pre-information of how much you're going to spend if you're able to calculate it and know, okay, I'm going to spend this much if I want to acquire this particular total number of products, okay? So it gives you a heads-on information as to how much you're going to involve or spend if you're to acquire all you desire accordingly. So it's a price list. It's a document that gives or provides details of lists of products and services with their corresponding prices. I have purchase order. A purchase order is a formal document issued by a by a buyer to who? To a seller, because that's like an order that I mentioned before, but this is a little bit different, okay? Now, it is issued by the buyer to seller as a response to quotation and price list outlining the details of goods and services they wish to purchase, including price, delivery times, all right? There's, of course, it serves as an official request and agreement for transaction. So in this case, it's like a more formalized way of requesting for the goods that has been advertised to the buyer, okay? Yes, of course. Then we have delivery note. Delivery note is not exactly the same as advice note, okay? Now, a delivery note is a document accompanying goods during transportation, which lists the items being delivered and serves as a proof that the delivery has been made as agreed between the buyer and the seller. You see, the other one is to inform that the goods are on the way. That is advice note, but this one tells what is being delivered, okay? The list of the items being delivered, it serves as a proof that the goods that were ordered for has been delivered. When the recipient signs the note, all right, it means that the goods have been successfully delivered to the buyer, okay? That's what this note is all about. It's when the buyer gets these goods, along with the advice note, which shows that it's been delivered, the recipient will sign acknowledging the receipt of this delivery, and that makes it authenticated. And then you can keep it as a seller to show that anytime anything comes up, I delivered this good and you acknowledge the receipt of it. So that's what makes it a delivery note. Okay. We have credit note. A credit note is a document issued by a seller to a buyer to correct or reduce the amount owed, often due to a return, overpayment, or an error in the original invoice. Now, see, a credit note is a kind of document that tells the buyer that we are owing you, all right? Your money is with us as sellers. So whenever you come around, you buy and we do a discount from what you have bought. We do a set-off from what you are going to pay currently from what you were owing you in the previous transaction. So it's like a counterbalance or a set-off from what you're going to pay and what is already in their custody in your favor as in terms of money. So it serves as a proof of adjustment in the buyer's account. So it makes you buy even without having much money in your hand. you buy and you're already paying in advance. So you're going to receive deductions from your payment in your favor, all right, when you're going to buy another product from the same store you have bought initially. So that's what a credit note stands for. It gives you an advantage to spend less in the current time of purchase. So because you're going to be receiving a discount based on how much the company is owing you. So that's what credit note works for. Debit notes is like the opposite, a reverse of credit notes. A debit note is a document that's sent by the buyer to the seller to formally request a correction in their account, usually when goods are returned, or then or there is an undercharge in the original invoice. In this, it increases the amount owed by the seller. Okay, so yeah, that's what it means. Then a pro forma invoice, the next document. A pro forma invoice is a preliminary bill or estimate sent by the seller to the buyer before a transaction is finalized. It's like an upfront information of what is entailed in transaction being carried out. It gives a first-hand information to the buyer to know all that's involved in what you want to transact with the seller. So it outlines the details of the goods or services, including prices, quantity, and terms to give the buyer or an understanding of the expected cost and conditions before making payments. So yes, that is the case of a pro forma invoice. Sometimes the seller uses it to tell the buyer, I'm not ready to sell to you on credit, so pay before you can have your goods. That's what it means, all right? When a pro forma invoice is issued, it's a sign of telling the buyer that only when you pay that the goods will be delivered to you. So yes, it's a soft way of telling the person, I don't sell on credit. So that's what it represents. Loyalty card is another document as well. A loyalty card is a card issued by the business to customer, allowing them to earn rewards, discounts, or points for repeated purchases as a part of a program designed to encourage customer loyalty and frequent shopping. So this is a benefit to customers. When you have this kind of card, it represents your eligibility for discounts and privileges in the business in question. So that's what loyalty card represents. It is an example of a loyalty card. Okay, you can see name, surname, and so on. It's a very important card. When you have this card, you enjoy a lot from the seller. Okay, so yes, like I said, the list is not exhaustive. We only handle a few, and so that's what we have to offer for now. If we have another opportunity, we can learn more, but for now, we have dealt with what we have to offer you. Thank you for your time, and this means we have handled a good number, and most common documents that are used in home trade. So anytime you see questions on these topics or documents, make sure you got it right, okay? You can explain more. I've given you examples of each of them when I was explaining. So please take down notes, make notes from this video, all right? And use it to answer questions on your ExamGuide app. God bless you as you do so. See you in the next video. Thank you very much.